Well, hey guys, welcome back to Waters Family Homestead. Well, don't know if you can tell, but I got a lot of the underbrush that was hindering our view. My son-in-law cut a bunch of it down. I knocked a bunch down but couldn't break it, so he cut it, and I got it moved over into the piles. There's a pretty good sized pile, but you can't see it where that barrel is over there. So it's not in the way. The feeder, see if I can get my hand right, is straight back behind that big oak tree. So there's an oak tree here and then a cedar tree. It's too big for me to push over, and then a bigger oak. And it's straight back behind it about 20-25 yards. So that's the main feeder, and they've been hitting the corn pretty decent. And the camera's showing we got a dozen or so back there. And then there's the first feeder I ever put back here. They hit it pretty good too, but they haven't been hitting it good this year. So anywho, you see I pushed a lot of stuff up over there because we don't shoot that direction typically. We wait till they get out here. But I just wanted to show y'all what it looked like, the view from inside the, which I can't back up far enough. See, I got a 12-inch opening from here to here, all the way across, 4 foot wide. So I got plenty of room to move and aim, and I may even come back here and just do some filming one day. I don't know. But anywho, I got it finished just in time because we're about 4 days away from opening rifle season. So just got it done in time, but that's all right. The deer won't care. They actually like it when you clean up like this. They come in and eat a lot of that growth they had trouble getting to before, and the new stuff popping up. More acorns, easier to find. So we've got corn out there, and of course the deer aren't moving as good right now as they normally do at the beginning of our season here in Southwest Georgia, because the acorns are falling like crazy everywhere. So it's getting cooler earlier than it normally does. Now, we do normally have a little cool snap, but it warms back up usually, before Thanksgiving. And it's gotten a little cooler than I typically see in my area. So, anywho, I think we got a pretty good spot. And you can look all the way down below me. That from where the camera is to the ground is about 18 feet. So it's not too bad. And this thing's big enough for 2 people. Now I'm not done with it, but I'm done enough for right now. I'd like to have a helper to come out and put the OSB that's going to go from this board over. And we're going to hinge this, the opening for the door. And I've got the boards up for the back. We're going to put OSB from there and try to hug the tree line as much as we can. And same way on this side. I know it's hard for y'all to see, but 4 foot wide bench, plenty of room to sit, nice and solid, nothing gives with me. So I can stand up in there. I do hit my head on that middle rafter, but it's not a big deal. It's is what it is. So it's a deer hunting blind, or deer stand, or hunting stand, whatever you want to call this thing. But I got a lot of brush pushed up back behind here, which I've got a drainage ditch that runs through the property there. So my goal is to eventually push all this small crap that I've taken down into that ditch and let it rot in that ditch and cover it up with dirt and kind of fill it in. But let me get down off here and I'll walk around and show you. So from right here at the bottom of the deer stand, so if I look up, the window, the shooting window out of the stand, 17 or 18 feet off the ground. So we get good vantage point. We can see much further than I can shoot, I can tell you that, or typically want to shoot. I'm not bad at much longer distances, but so I got in here and I pushed. There's a big old privy there that I tried to push down. It's too big for me to push, but I broke the little branch off, knocked it down, broke the top out of it, pushed it back into my piles, pushed a lot of this stuff further back, and this here a little further back. So eventually I will get all this cleaned up, but that's all I want to do for deer season right now. So he's gonna bring his blind in probably Friday and set it up on this old rug he's got here, so that he's not directly sitting on the ground. But the feeders are good. We did get quite a bit of rain a few days ago, and the negative about those feeders, I don't have a top on them, so the corn gets wet and then it wants to stop up at the bottom. But I just walk up to it and kick it and shake it until it breaks loose and comes right back out. But they haven't really hit that feeder much. Let me jump in. They haven't hit that feeder much, but they have done a lot more with that feeder back there. But you see where I did some more cleaning up. A lot of this small undergrowth was hindering his line of sight for his ground blind, and he may hunt the box stand, he may hunt in the ground blind, I don't know, but the choice is his. If I come back here, it's going to be up in the stand. When I get it closed in, I'll have a little propane heater in there for when it gets too cold, because I don't tolerate it as well as I used to. But anywho, I'm going to get off here. We'll go up here and show y'all the chickens, and I'll be right back. Okay guys, so some of you may be wondering why I haven't done any more with the goat pen. A couple of things. One is I needed rain to soften this ground so I can dig the holes for the corner post. And two is I needed more pallets to build the stalls that I'm going to build. I'm using pallets for that. And like I told y'all before, someone beat me to, we had plenty of them at the shop, but somebody beat me to all the normal size pallets. So I've been letting them build up, and I actually cleaned up a little bit yesterday at the shop. I got 6 more stacked up at the shop waiting on me to bring them home. Hopefully none of the other guys will take it. So I actually only need 3 more to do what I want to do. So that's you know, down the road. I'm not in a hurry to get this fenced in. Hello, Sweet Pea. You just want to be on camera, don't you? But like I say, I'm not in a hurry for it, but at least I know I've got it cleared. I've got the materials I need if I want to, you know, if I need to. Worst case scenario hits, you know, me and a helper can come out here and have this fence up in a day. And, you know, put a cow in, put goats in, whatever I need to. But let me talk to y'all about these turkeys. So, a couple of months back, might be 3 months now, but at least 2, my son helped me trim the wings of all the new, younger chickens, the Rhode Island Reds, and the turkeys. We only cut 1 wing so that it's supposed to help throw them off balance so they don't fly so far. But, y'all know I think I've got 1 boy and 2 girls. And, you know, roughly a week ago, I had one of the females, not the brown one, one of the black ones, actually got over into this area of the chicken run with these Rhode Island Reds, and they didn't like it. But I got her back in there, and everything else has been fine. Well, I got home today, and there is a turkey running out here. So he came running right up the fence line just like all the other chickens when I drive up, but he was outside the fence. So I get to looking, and of course there's turkey scat all over the ground over here. Yeah, like y'all really want to see that. But so I know he kind of hung around this area, and it was the boy this time. It was the Tom. And he was running back and forth around the fence trying to get in when I threw scratch to him. So what I thought was, okay, I'll throw enough scratch in there now to keep the chickens distracted for at least 10 minutes, you know, because they run to the door when I walk to the door. So I threw enough scratch in both areas to distract the chickens, and then he went the opposite direction. So I thought, well, okay, I need to do something different. I went down here to the door, and he got about halfway, and then he went back. So the chickens at that point the blue Orpingtons especially, started coming toward the door. So I had to throw more scratch out to get them in there. And then I took a little bit of scratch in my scoop and put a little on the ground right here at the corner, and he came over to it and was tearing it up like he was starving. So when he finally got distracted from that, I just kept rattling my cup all the way down the fence line, and the chickens were in there eating that second scoop of scratch I threw out. I opened this door, and he kept running back and forth about the area where he is. So when he got about 6 or 8 feet from the door, right around in here, I left the door open because all the chickens were getting that scratch, and walked around behind him and just kind of, pushed him toward the door, and he ran in, and he's been in there ever since. I've already been back in the woods on the tractor and all of that, but yeah, this is one that I'm thinking is a female. It could end up being a boy, but I think this is a female because my buddy told me what the dangle was, the thing hanging off the top of their beak on nose area that gets really long on the males. But he seemed to agree with me that I got 2 females and a male, which is exactly what I originally wanted. So if that's the case, I'm happy with that. I'd like to trade that male for another male from somewhere else, but I want a young one if I'm going to get one, so it can be used to everything, because this one's, not even a year old. But we shall see. Other than that, they're doing well. I got 14 eggs again today, so typically I get 14 or 15 just about every day. 16 would be my next most popular number, and I've gotten 17, 18 a couple of times. So typically I go 14 to 16 eggs a day. And yesterday I only got 10. Day before that I had 16. Day before that I didn't have but like 8. So I've had 2 really low days in the last week and a half or so. Low count egg days, but most of the time I'm getting 14, 16 a day. I'm not going to argue with that. They're doing their job. I thought about locking them all up inside the pen, all of them, and not let them out in the run area for a week or so to kind of get them back filled with the layer pellets to help them lay more. But you know what? It's not going to hurt many eggs as I get for them to take a little bit of a break for a little while, especially with the season changing. But I showed y'all the other video where I've got all 3 of their lights put up, plugged into the thermocube, so it'll come on when it gets below 35 or 35, and that's not exact. It's not digital, y'all. So in my experience, that thing comes on typically around 39, 40 degrees. So it's not exactly 35, but that's what they rate it for. So anywho, so that's been done. They're all healthy. They all look good. And I don't have any complaints. So I did want to give y'all a little tidbit sneak peek. It's going to be a few weeks, but I've got a major upgrade to my off-grid solar coming. I've already ordered it. It's in transit, and if it tells you anything, it cost me about $1,300. So it is what it is. But I've already ordered it. It's on the way, and it's due to be delivered in the next week to week and a half. Coming from California. Y'all, it takes longer to get stuff from California than it does China. But either way, I've got a guy at work that's agreed to come help me. I'm going to pay him to come help me clean up all my wiring and stuff, make it nice and neat and pretty, and make sure everything is 100% ready when the inverter gets here. So I'm excited about it. I've been dreaming about being completely off-grid power-wise for over 15 years. I really hate the fact that, these companies in the country charges everybody so very much for electricity when everybody basically has to have it to have a modern life. So I've invested a lot in my off-grid system. I've started off with 140 watt panel and a grid tie inverter, and all that stuff. And then I ended up getting more panels and batteries, and bought, you know, the Walmart deep cycle batteries that didn't hold up, all that mess. So now I've got really good batteries, which I still may get more, and I still want to get a good wind turbine to put in with my solar, so that during the night and during bad weather, when you're not getting a lot of sun, that'll help keep the battery bank charged. But that would probably be my next purchase, would be a wind generator. But that takes care of my power. That thing, and I shared a picture on the channel here, asking for, you know, suggestions and info. And that thing will produce 4,000 watts continuous. I actually wanted a 5,000 watt, but I could not find a 5,000 watt continuous that was available that is in 12 volts, which is what I prefer to run. Now, it wouldn't be nothing to upgrade my system to 24 volts. You know, you just wire the batteries in series, tie them together. That's not the problem. It's that I prefer 12. Now, down the road, I may upgrade my system to 24 volts instead of 12, but I'm going to stick with the 12 for right now. So with the 10 solar panels I've got, the 4 charge controllers, and this big inverter coming, and the off-grid solar batteries in there, I hope within the next 2 to 3 weeks, I will be producing all of my own electricity and not need the grid. I'm not turning the grid off. I'm going to leave it on. I know for sure it'll provide plenty of power to run my well, without a doubt. I'm not sure that 4,000 watts big enough for my electric dryer, which has been a goal for several years, to upgrade that to a gas dryer anyway. But I'm going to tell you, I'm not doing that anytime soon, the way the expenses are. I'm probably going to put a clothesline up back here. It's just me, and I prefer my clothes actually dried on the line when I have the time and all, because they don't wrinkle as bad and all that good stuff. They smell better. So either who, thought I'd throw that in there, and I hope y'all are as excited about it as I am. I plan on, once I get everything done, I plan on doing a very detailed, in-depth video of exactly what I have, how it's wired together, how it's all working, and all that good stuff. So of course that will be early once it's done, and then I'll do videos every now and then updating on whether my system's working or not, whether I need to make changes, or is it producing power for myself. There's a lot of channels out there, and people say, oh, you can't get off grid with your power for less than, you know, $60,000 or $70,000. Well, I personally don't believe that. I haven't sat down and added every dime I've spent on my off-grid system, but a ballpark figure, I would say I've probably spent in the range, and this is buying 3 inverters that no longer work. So this, you know, everything, I've probably spent $6,000-7,000. And yes, my house is small, and I built it energy efficient and all that good stuff. But anywho, I just don't believe it takes 60 or 70. Do I think solar is a solution for the entire country? No, absolutely not. You don't have the space for the solar, and it's a grid. It would have to be grid tie. So then, if you don't have batteries to store the power to run at night, you're not doing anything except helping during the daylight. So I mean, it can make a dent in the power usage that this country and the world uses, but it's not the end all be all solution. You can do it on a smaller scale, like I'm doing, for a lot less than these big companies and big channels are telling you can, and I'm determined to prove that. But either way, guys, I appreciate you watching and listening to the videos. It means so very much to me. Y'all remember what I always tell you: Jesus Christ loves you, and so do I. Y'all be safe and be prepared.